Whoa, okay. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your May Soul session. Okay, that is sideways. Interesting. I'm Princess Indy if you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and whatnot, or whatever. So, anywho, we're going to be looking at an overall energy as well as a challenge for you guys, and then we're getting into a more specific spread for the month of May. But the first card that is you guys' overall energy came out sideways, and for me, whenever cards come out sideways, that's the Ten of Pentacles, by the way. Whenever a card comes out sideways, that's always like a free will thing to me, which means that it's up to the choices that you make that decide, whether this is going to be upright or reversed. So with the Ten of Pentacles, this is more or less like being in a good place financially, having some security and or stability, things being good on the home front, having, connection, camaraderie, all the good things. With your family unit or just people, around you, planning for the future, all of those things. Or it could be the polar opposite of that, where none of those things are happening, in so many words. Now, our challenge for this, oh, wow, interesting. Our challenge is the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So what it's looking like for me, Aquarius, a lot of this month has a great deal to do with finances and or earthly matters in the month of May. And it's really contingent upon you guys coming to a place of balance with your finances, or if we were to say in the context of just like energy, right? And currency is an energy. So what it's looking like for me, you guys are either overspending, and I'll say it this way. With this being Pentacles, we could be talking about either finances or just day-to-day life 3D type of things. Like I say, like an energetic kind of vibe, like, what you're putting effort into or not. But I'm going to stick with finances just because it's easier for me to explain this. But the challenge to overcome is either you guys overspending or underspending. And what I would mean by underspending is like fearfully hoarding money, right? So there's things that you need to get done, things that you need to fix. You need to, go to the dentist, get stuff done. You know what I mean? Or you're spending unnecessary amounts of money on things like eating out every day and things of the sort. It's not necessarily being a good steward of your finances, right? So I can see how this is kind of saying this can go one or two ways. So if you are overspending your money, like if your ultimate goal is to be in a place of financial security and stability, right? To have a nest egg and emergency savings, to save for retirement, to purchase a home, whatever the case. But if you're overspending your money, that's not really going to get you there because you're not, saving anything. On the other side of this, if you're energetically hoarding money, right? Yeah, you do have a nest egg. Yes, you have a lot of money that you're sitting on, but do you have that fulfillment that the Ten of Cups is speaking about? You know what I mean? If you're, compulsively overworking and all the things, and your ultimate goal is to have like, a partner and kids and a dog and all the things. If you're spending all of your time working and saving this money, you do have the money, but are you going out and actually living your life? You know what I mean? Or are you consistently overworking and saving a great deal of money, but you're not actually living, So it's centralized a great deal around finances or how it is that you're allocating your time, energy, or resources. The main thing is you guys are coming into the month of May with an imbalance in reference to that. So more or less what this is saying to me, Aquarius, is what your overall end goal is and what your behavior is currently. The behavior isn't in support of what that overall end goal is. And a shift needs to happen to where that needs to come into balance, because it in essence would be like a form of self-sabotage, if I say it that way. So how you're behaving or how you're allocating these resources is in direct contrast to what the overall goal is, if that's making sense. Now, getting into you guys more specific spread, your past influence coming into the month of May is the King of Wands in the reverse. Interesting. Your central energy representing you is the Moon. That's Cancerian energy. Your hidden influence is the Five of Wands. Your potential outcome, interesting, is the Wheel of Fortuna in the reverse. And that is Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius. And your opposite sign, Leo energy. And what to look out for moving forward, interesting, is the Judgment card. That is very fascinating. So starting out with this King of Wands in the reverse, I want to go ahead and clarify this to see if this is a person outside of you guys that we need to be. Okay, 3 cards got stuck in my hand, so let's go with that. A person you guys need to be concerned about. First card out is Community in the reverse. Then we have Temple Path, and then we have Angel of Love. Interesting. I'm going to show those to you guys as well. So I do feel like this King of Wands in the reverse is actually representing you guys, Aquarius. So coming out of April and into May and fixating mostly on the latter part of April, there's misguided energy. There's misguided energy, and I would say a lack thereof of a clear end goal, right? So an example of what this would look like would be if someone asked, like, well, what do you want for your life? You would say something, not saying you'd literally say exactly this, but it's like, I want to be happy, right? But it's not having clarity on what happy looks like. You know what I mean? Now, looking at you guys clarifying cards here, having Community in the reverse, that's very much a solitary energy. And of course, I often say in instances such as this, that you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. So I feel that there's a need to kind of reach out to someone or people outside of yourself. And this could literally be someone who, is more well-versed in whatever this is that you guys are struggling with. So if we stick with the whole financial thing, this would be talking to a friend who's really, really good with money, or actually going to speak to, you know, like a financial coach or like a financial planner or something along those lines, right? Now, with this Temple Path showing up, it's pretty much saying for everything it is that you guys have been through up until this point, there is a rhyme and reason for it. I see that as well in this Judgment card of what to look out for you guys. Like the path that you're on at this present moment, it may not necessarily look like this path is in your highest good, but it's ultimately leading you back. And this is probably going to sound so corny to an Aquarius, but in a sense, it's the intention is to lead you back to yourself, right? So that kind of says to me, Aquarius, when I talk about like misdirected energy, right? This is saying to me that on the path that you guys have been on up to this point, there's been some level of distraction where you've kind of lost sight of what the point is. Like, what are you doing this for? Like, if we wanted to look at it in the context of like, you know, what do you believe your purpose is in life? What do you believe the meaning of life is, right? That's more on the existential side. If we were to like bring that down a little bit, it's like, what is your 5-year plan? You know, what is your 10-year plan? You know, what do you want to do, you know, in your career path, right? Like, what is the ultimate thing that you're working towards? Or are you just going to work every day or opening up your business every day? You know what I mean? To just, you know, go through the motions, you know? It's like, do you have an idea of what your 10 of cups is? I mean, your 10 of pentacles. And with me kind of thinking about this, like with the card coming out sideways, I still see that as a free will kind of thing. But in theory, it kind of almost seems like to me, looking at these cards, that, like I was saying, if someone were to ask you, what do you want? It's like, oh, I want to be happy. You know, I want to have money, but there's not really a clear picture of what that would look like. Like if you were to sit and think about what is your ideal your ideal life look like, you don't really know the answer to that question. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I've just been maintaining day to day. But I feel now is an opportune time for you all because like, well, I didn't say that yet. I thought it. But with the King of Wands in the reverse, that's a disempowered energy. It's more or less saying that you have the ability, the know-how, the creativity. You very well could have the resources, right? Even if you're overspending your money, you still have the resources because the resources are coming in, but you're overspending them. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the power and the potential to get to where it is that you want to go, but it's not knowing specifically what or where that is. It would be the equivalent of, saying, I want to go to a water park and just hopping in your car and driving aimlessly, right? There are water parks all over the United States of America, but you never Googled one to see if there's one near you or if there's one, far away that you potentially want to go to. So you don't know the address, so you don't have any directions, but you're driving around and saying, I'm going to a water park. And everyone's like, okay, which one? And it's like, oh, I don't know. I just know I want to go to a water park. You feel what I'm saying? It's that kind of energy. But so the same with this angel of love being here. I do feel for some of you as well. And this is kind of like a side energy that I'm picking up on, where this is becoming something kind of romantical. For others of you, this King of Wands would actually be a person, but this would be a person that's in your life, that like a person that you're dating, like not just like somebody you're hanging out with or something. Like this would be a person that you're dating or a person that you're in a relationship with, but in the relationship with this person, you feel completely alone. So, and that would also go back to this 10 of Pentacles being sideways, because this is a very one-sided relationship. It's like there's no reciprocity, there's no give and take in this relationship. And if you resonate with the relationship side of this would be a person who's a fire sign. So that's either Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. But with this, like there's like a whole narrative going on with this. And I mean, there's a potential even with this overall energy being child, this is that just became a whole thing. I'm getting all kinds of stuff on this now. This could potentially be a husband. I ain't gonna lie to you. This could literally be like a husband and y'all have kids type of thing, like a whole household. Like, I mean, y'all might have a mother-in-law that live with y'all and stuff too, child. Like this is a whole thing with me looking at this. But the whole thing is, in the context of this being a relationship, I don't want to say this, but it just feels like this person isn't necessarily the right person for you. And why I say that is because this King of Wands in the reverse with this community card, that's saying to me, like, there's a family unit here, there's a collective here. However, Aquarius would be feeling by themselves. In contrast to this, you have the Temple path and the Angel of Love, which is saying that this path that's leading you to what's truly in alignment with you, right? That's a path that still exists, which means that there would be someone else out there in the world for you that's not this person. You feel what I'm saying? So looking at our overall energy and our challenge, it's like an unstable household where Aquarius would be the one who's investing more into this household or this relationship than the other person would. And the challenge for Aquarius would be seeing that. You feel what I'm saying? So even for those of you where this isn't speaking about a romantical situation, this could be about a job. This could be about your relationship with yourself. It's literally saying that where it is that you are at present, watching this video, coming into this particular time frame, one has lost sight of what it is that you ultimately want and what you're ultimately going towards. You're in a stagnant situation that's very much lacking of reciprocity. What you're putting into it, you're not getting it back. And that would be the reason why, this stability and the security that one should have in this 10 of Pentacles isn't really present, right? You know what I'm saying? So it could be the same thing with like a job. Like if you're working at a company and you're doing overtime and you're, doing several other positions outside of the one that is your job title, but your job is still paying you the same thing, right? that would be a situation that's not in your highest good. You would feel alone. You wouldn't feel like your employer is an ally. It doesn't feel, it wouldn't be like your employer is pouring back into you. It's like you're giving all of this and they're not valuing you in return. And this would be saying that there is, another job that's more in alignment with what it is that you really want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's reflective of what it is that you're desiring out there somewhere. But for some reason, one is in this situation. So, and this is me just looking at our overall energy, our challenge, and your past influence. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all stuff between like April until now that Aquarius is coming into May with, right? Now, with our central energy being the moon card, it's a decision is ultimately going to have to be made. Let's just jump ahead and say that, because I feel the situation that you guys are in, everything that I just said up to this point, it probably resonates with you. I mean, if this is your reading, this resonates with you and you're like, wow, that is kind of how I feel. You know what I mean? But you may not have had words for it, because I feel it's almost like, and I was saying this in the live stream that I did recently, I was saying that the energy that we've been in, like for a while, but heavily in the month of April, is like being in the 7 of Cups going 60 miles per hour. So it's like you feel this sensation of things moving quickly, but you're blinded. It's like you can't see in front of you. You can't see on the side of you. It's like it's a level of confusion and not really understanding or knowing what's happening, not knowing what's coming next. It's just 1,000 things are being thrown at you in so many words. The thing that I feel with this as well is your dream space. I don't know how much value you put on dreams, but I feel you've 9 times out of 10 been having a ton of like cuckoo bananas dreams. Some of you may have been completely disregarding them as mere brain fodder, but I feel that it's imperative that you guys are paying attention to that, because it's a lot of subconscious things that are coming up to the fore. You know what I'm saying? Through your dream space that you guys may not be paying attention to. So the key is, I feel if like, again, if you guys are looking outside of you for answers, other than going to, someone who's a master of something that can help you with the problem that you have, I feel if you guys are looking to the external world, or have been up to this point, for some sort of clarity or solutions as to why this is happening or what's going on, I don't really feel you guys would be getting much from that. And the reason why is because there's some sense of self-imposed blindness that's happening here, right? It's like, in order to see the truth of the situation, and I've literally said this for just about every sign prior to you guys, is there's a need to close your eyes in order to see the situation clearly. And what I mean by that is there's a need to really like go within and check within yourself, and not saying that in a woo-woo context, but there's a need to really self-reflect. You know what I'm saying? To really see what's happening here, to almost like step out of your situation to get an objective viewpoint, because I feel that there's like some biases that are happening here. And there's a little bit of being stuck in a continuous pattern here. You know what I'm saying? To where, why I said you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. It's like you're not getting any alternative opinions. It's the only opinion that you have is your own, and that is the same mind that created the problem. So you're not getting another perspective of your situation. So it just kind of feels like you're stuck in it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel what would be coming up in your dream space would be things that are trying to show you the truth. So there is an element of like, well, pun intended, I suppose, there is an element of a hidden influence here. Even though we're about to get into your hidden influence card, there is an element of a hidden influence here. And I feel this hidden influence for some of you is like a self-sabotatory pattern that you're not seeing, and I don't really feel like, of course, it can involve other people, but the other people aren't the problem, if that's making sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this would be a perfect example, actually. If I were to use the romantical situation, right? So if it was like having a partner who, every time you're going through something emotionally and you try to go to your romantical partner and talk to them about things and they're like, I don't have time for that. Or if, every time you guys are trying to pay bills or something like that, your partner's like, oh, I don't have money. You know what I mean? And not saying like you're trying to go buy some Jimmy Choos or something, but it's literally like the light bill is due and your client's like, I mean, your client, your Freudian slip. If you're getting money from your client, you will lose your license. Don't ever go to your clients for bill money. But anyway, but every time you go to your partner for like real things that are needed in the household, it's them not contributing. You know what I'm saying? That would be a lack thereof of reciprocity. But to stay with this person, right, that's completely neglectful of you. And I mean, this becomes a whole deeper pattern thing. This is, it's a whole pattern that's been playing out for some time, and you chose a partner that fits that whole pathology. You know what I'm saying? So it's being like, oh, I'm stressed out and this and that, but never looking at the fact that the issue is the person that you're with. It's like, I don't understand why I'm so stressed out, or, I'm so tired from like working 2, 3 jobs, but we're ignoring the fact that, there's a partner at home that's not contributing anything. You feel what I'm saying? It's like that kind of vibe. So it's something that's happening that you're participating in, but it's having like a willful blindness towards it. And it's like all this stuff is chaotic and hectic, and I don't understand what's going on. I have no idea why this is a problem. Like, why is all of this happening to me? But not ever looking at this particular thing. You know what I'm saying? And that particular thing being your block from getting to this very stable 10 of Pentacles. I hope and pray that that's making sense, Aquarius. Now, dropping down to you guys, hidden influence being the 5 of Wands, there's a bit of inner conflict that's happening with you. So once again, this is really speaking to, and this is of course subconscious energy, there's a fight that's happening inside of you, but more often than not, whatever's happening inside of us, we're projecting on the outside, right? So we may be attributing problems to a myriad of different things of like, if we use the work situations, like, oh my gosh, my boss sucks. My boss always rides my ass. And it's like, no, everyone takes me for granted. And I do so much work. And it's like, I'm working overtime, doing like 5 different positions, and I'm only getting 1 paycheck, and they don't appreciate me. But the truth of the matter is you can leave the job, right? So you're disempowering yourself unnecessarily, because the perception of the situation would be that you're helpless in this situation and there's no way out and you're being victimized, but you actually have a way or a pathway out of this situation. You feel what I'm saying? But it's not being able to see it as of yet because it requires a level of self-honesty. So that's what I mean. Like, there's a need to close your eyes in order to see clearly, and going within in a non-woo-woo way. It's like there has to be a rude awakening that comes via self-honesty, where one takes a step back and really looks at everything that's happening and is honest with themselves. Now, if we were to skirt away all of that and just look at this as a personal development thing, and I said this in my live stream as well, it's time to ask yourself the question, you know what? I'll say that for all of you guys, in all honesty. The thing that would be very helpful at this present time is to take a step back and to ask yourself the question of, what does a life worth living look like to you? Like, what is your definition of a life worth living? And giving yourself some time to really think about that. And when you get a very clear picture of what a life worth living looks like, put that in contrast to the life that you're living now and see what the difference is between the two. Because I feel overall, Aquarius, and this is me kind of jumping ahead to your 2 other cards, because I feel like I'm already talking about the Judgment card, with your potential outcome being the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. This is saying divine timing, right? So going into the latter part of May, this cycle shift that you guys are coming upon, the time is not now. right? So the month of May, I feel, is solely about Aquarius coming to terms with Aquarius, right? So whatever this moon card is hiding, by the end part of May, I feel you guys have an opportunity, like going back to what I was saying with a card being sideways and this being a free will thing. In the month of May, the sole purpose of this month is for Aquarius to face their Judas in the mirror, if you will. It's seeing how it is and what ways you have been your own worst enemy. But I can tell you, you are not alone in that. That is the goal for all 12 signs for the entire collective in the month of May. All of us are coming to terms with how it is that we've been standing in our own way, right? How all of us have had some sense of willful blindness, how it is that we've self-victimized and been like, poor me, I'm being attacked. You know what I'm saying? I'm being taken for granted. I'm being taken advantage of, but never acknowledging the hand that we have in it, or the hand that we have to get ourselves out of it. How in a lot of ways we can be willing participants in our own demise. You know what I mean? And with this judgment card, this is speaking to ascending to a higher state of being. That also sounds very lofty minded. But what this is literally saying, it's an elevation. It's more or less you being called out from or being removed from a very dead and stagnant, low vibrational situation. You know what I'm saying? So when we're looking at this Wheel of Fortune, right? And we're looking at this judgment card in accordance with each other, what to look out for and what your potential outcome is. It's saying that everything is frozen right now and you're kind of stuck in this particular stasis that you're in at present, because there's a very important lesson that one needs to learn before you, pass go and collect $200, right? Going into this new cycle and this new season in your life, coming out of this dead energy that's not in alignment with you that you've been in. And my guides are literally telling me with this 10 of Pentacles, a lot of why that's sideways is because it's kind of like sun in the reverse kind of energy. It's half-hearted happiness. It's a very superficial level of happiness. So it's things looking really good on the outside, but when you get beneath the surface, it's a fucking shit show. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's looking happy, but not being happy. And what the goal is with this judgment card is for Aquarius to actually be happy, because you deserve to be happy. You don't have to settle for half-hearted happiness, right? You don't have to settle for, bad habits, overspending your money, hoarding your money, energetically hoarding, you know what I'm saying? Isolating yourself, you know what I mean? Being in a relationship with a less than stellar person, working for a job that doesn't appreciate you, you know what I mean? Not having self-compassion for yourself, right? Fraternize toxic family members and feeling like you have to put up with them, right? Those are all things that you don't have to put up with. You don't have to exist in a disempowered state, and you don't have to settle for less than you deserve. Because all of this is saying to me that there is a call on Aquarius's life at present to have the opportunity to have the life that you desire, to live, a life worth living. That is the opportunity that's on offer. But if one does not get the clarity that's needed in this moon card, which is facing this truth via self-honesty, because that's ultimately what's going to empower you. If this truth that's been hidden from oneself isn't faced, then you would do nothing but perpetuate the past in your present and on into the foreseeable future in this new cycle. So it's the equivalent, like the analogy I've been using for everyone is like we all own a farm. And this last, harvest season, none of us got a fruitful crop because we planted bum ass seeds, right? So it's like Spirit sent out all of this farming equipment and all of these workers to dig up the ground, to treat the ground. And now, they've plowed the ground. And the only thing that we have to do is bring the seeds that we want to plant, put them in the ground, and everything else is going to be taken care of. Now, with all of that has been done for us, we're being offered a clean slate. But mind you, I said that it's our responsibility to get the seeds that we're going to plant, right? If Aquarius doesn't find out what has been hidden, and I'm telling you, this is not something that is like, oh my gosh, how am I going to find it out? It's literally been staring you in the face. Like there's been 1,000 different signs. You know what I'm saying? That have been screaming this out at you. It's a pattern you keep finding yourself in. It's a history that keeps repeating itself. It's like you need to pay attention to patterns. Whatever it is that has transpired in the month of April, this is something that this is not the first time this has happened, right? Even if we're speaking about this in the context of a relationship, this isn't the first person in the history of your lifespan that you've ever experienced a person like this, right? You've dated this same person in a different body a dozen times. But in order to recognize that pattern, what does that require? Self-honesty. You feel what I'm saying? Even if we look at the depiction of the moon card, what do we have? We have homegirl that's walking to, a little pond or lake or whatever you want to call it, right? And what happens when you look into, a body of water? You see your own reflection. You feel what I'm saying? She doesn't know what she looks like. She doesn't know what state she's in, right? She has no idea what's going on with her until she gets to this proverbial mirror and sees her own reflection, right? That's the place that you guys are on. The path that you're on at present is to see your truth, to see the truth of how it is that we got here in the first place, right? It's not us looking at it from other people's perspective or our past experience. It's seeing the truth of what is now, right? Like truly seeing ourselves. So what it is that we see, like what's reflected back to you, you still have free will, what you see or not, right? Because you could see your reflection and see, wow, I'm my own Judas, right? And then you can second guess yourself and say, fuck that. That's not true. I'm a victim here. I'm not Judas, I'm Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You could totally do that, but that's the seeds that you're going to plant. So even though we're giving an opportunity to put, good fruitful seeds into the ground, we can use our free will to make the decision to put bum ass seeds in the ground again. And then next year, not literally next year, but, saying this in our farming analogy, it's like when it's time for us to go pull up that crop, we could end up having absolutely nothing again because we planted those bum ass seeds. So the whole thing is for my Aquariuses in the month of May, it's all about what is it that you're going to plant, because you're being given an opportunity to align with the life that you want, with the path that you want to walk, right? With the person that you want to be with the job that you desire. But the only thing that's standing between you and that is yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I hope and pray that this makes sense, Aquarius. Most definitely let me know what you think in the comments. All of these soul sessions this month have been so heavy to say that it's springtime, but let me know what you think in the comments. I love your freaking face, and I will see you guys sooner than later.